I know that 2012 is going to be a year of divine intervention, but you have to take the first step. So let's get started. Hey, child of God, welcome to the Rich Thoughts webcast brought to you by the Debt Free Army. Hey, I'm excited. Well, we got a few days left, depending on when you see this webcast in 2011. I'm going to make it every day count. I want you to do the same. But as we begin to move into 2012, God has shown me that it's going to be a year of divine intervention. Divine intervention. I'm just so excited about what He's going to do. In fact, I've got something very special planned for New Year's Day. I'm not going to talk about it on this webcast, but if you want to know about it, send me an email to Harold at Debt Free Army, and I'll tell you all about it. Now, the key to when I say you got a part to play, you know, God gives us the tools we need, but we're the ones who have to just use what He's given us, obey His instructions, follow His directions, and do the things that He's called us to do. Which is why I want to talk about how you move in to 2012, making it a year of divine intervention and destiny for you and your family. So what I want to talk about and feel led to do on this last webcast that I'm recording for the year is to talk about, setting your goals. If you don't have a goal, how you know you're going to get where you want to be? You got to have goals. A goal is a vision of how it is before it is. Let me say that again. A goal is a vision of how it is before it is. How it's going to be before it ever is manifested the way you see it. In my seminars, I talk about goal setting, and sometimes and invariably some well-meaning sister or brother come up and say, well, goal setting, that's worldly. I'm just wanting to serve the Lord. And I said, well, are you born again? Yes. Why'd you get born again? Well, I want to go to heaven. You going today? Well, if Jesus comes. I said, but if He doesn't come today, when are you going? Well, whenever He comes. I said, so if it's not today, it's going to be in the future. Yes. I said, well, then your goal is to go to heaven whenever in the future Jesus comes back. Well, yes. So you're really not against goal setting. Well, see, sometimes people are just goofy. But a goal, let me just get on with this. A goal is the manifestation, the end result, achieved through vision and proper planning, persistence, and peak performance. So I want you to get a notebook as we go through this teaching today, and truly it's going to take 2 days to do it, today and tomorrow. And I want you to write notes. It can be a legal pad, it can be a PDA, it can be right here on your computers. You watch this. It can be on an iPad and a Galaxy Tab, whatever. Just take notes and get ready. And remember, Isaiah 48:17 in the Message Bible says, I am God, your God, who teaches you how to live right and well. I'll show you what to do and tell you where to go. So I want you to write down the kind of things that you'd like to achieve in 2012. Put them into the 6 major areas of your life: spiritual, family, financial, physical, mental, social. And I want you to find a quiet place to where you can sit down and go through this. In this quiet place, if you're married, it'd be great if you and your spouse could do it together, separately, and then put it together, which is what my fine wife Bev and I do. But if you got a spouse that, is just not where you are spiritually or in tune with doing this, then don't fret, don't be worried. You just do your personal goals. And as you rise above your current situation, circumstances, and problems, you'll find that your spouse will want to pay more attention to what's going on. Here's something else you need to know. No matter what you're going through, you need to know that nothing is impossible with God. Absolutely nothing's impossible with God. So I guess you can tell I've been talking about point number 1, and that is that you need to write down exactly what it is you want to do in the specific areas of your life in 2012. Spiritual, family, financial, physical, mental, social. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. And that is more critical than what you can know. You see, you've got to stop seeing things the way they are and begin to see things the way they can be, because that's what God wants you to do. So the number one key is you need to write it down. Write it down. Be specific in these 6 major areas of your life. And you also need to put nothing is impossible with God and those who believe, and I'm a believer, so nothing is impossible to me. And we'll get back to point 2 right after this. You know, there's all different kinds of money. There's hard-earned money, inherited money, stolen money, gambling money, and the list goes on and on. I'm Harold Herring, president of the Debt Free Army, and I'm here to tell you about a very different kind of money, miracle money. I've discovered that God's miracle money is available not just to a select few, but to those who know how to reach out and receive it. I want to send you a free copy of a book that I helped develop and publish entitled Miracle Money. God told me to put this book into the lives of those who had the faith to pick up the phone and call 1-800-DEBT-FREE. If you're suffering economic hardship, if it seems you just can't make ends meet financially, then this may be the most important phone call you'll ever make. The book is free. The call is free. So why not pick up the phone right now and call 1-800-DEBT-FREE.
Learn about the miracle money God's holding for you. Call 1-800-DEBT-FREE.
Welcome back. The second step in goal setting is to set a timeline for achievement. If you've ever heard me talk, you know I don't particularly like the word deadline. The only thing dead I want in my life is my flesh. I like timelines, ways to make it happen. And timelines need to be divided into smaller parts. For instance, you've got immediate, which would be daily, weekly, monthly. You've got intermediate, which would be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year. And you've got long range, which could be 2, 3, or 5 years. I believe focus more on the immediate goals, and then the really what I would call the intermediate, year-long goals. You know, sometimes 3 months, 6 months, but to do it. And I do think whatever goal you've got in those 6 major areas of your life, spiritual, family, financial, physical, mental, social, you need to establish a timeline and you break it down. For instance, if one of your goals is to work out arrangements with your creditors or get your financial life right, then you need to get all your information together. You need to call the number and just start talking to them and come up with whatever kind of plan you know you can keep. Never ever be talked into some financial plan or system that you know that you cannot adhere to. That's the timeline. You know, if you tell them you'll pay it off in so many months. For instance, I was helping somebody recently that was 3 months behind on a car payment. I talked with them. They were able to negotiate it to where they were able to make, one payment, and then they were able to make 2 weeks later another payment, and then to where they got caught up over about a 2-month period. But they were able to negotiate with the company so that their car wasn't repoed. Same thing's true with timelines if you want to lose weight. Some people say, well, I want to lose 100 pounds this year. Well, get realistic. It's better if you purpose to lose 5 pounds a month or 10 pounds a month or so many pounds a week, more manageable. And it's important, too, to set goals that you know you can live with. For instance, don't say, oh, I'm going to start exercising every day. It's better you do it 3 days a week than keep it than to say I'm going to do it every day and not do it at all, or feel like if you miss it that you've made a mistake. Third step of goal setting is to make a list of everything you'll need to achieve your goal. Listen, even Santa Claus has a list, wants us to have a list. You know, make your list, check it twice, find out who's going to be naughty or nice. Hey, listen, you got to have a list. You got to have a list of everything you need to do to achieve your goal. Write it down, every single step. In business, they call it a business plan. I like the term critical path. When I want to achieve a specific goal, I figure out what day I want to have it achieved by. I go to that date and then I just start backing up with a critical path that tells me what I have to do by each date in order to achieve my goal by a specific date. If you work for someone else, you should do no less for them than you would for yourself, because that's how you can be promoted and just in the kingdom of God, by being a faithful steward. Once you have this list, you need to carry it around with you on your notebook, your laptop, your iPad, all your whatever electronic gadgets you've got, or even a 3x5 card or a legal pad, journal, whatever it is, carry it with you. Because, and let me say this, you got to write all this down, because writing it down just makes it, well, it makes it where you're more serious about it. So you make a list of everything that you have to do. I read once an article by a number of millionaires, and one characteristic that was uniform was they all wrote down the things that they knew to accomplish. They gave them timelines, and they followed it up on a daily basis. When you write something down, you're going to pay more attention to it than you would otherwise, and that's critically important for you to do. So you got to come up with a list in the 6 major areas of your life. You got to create timelines. You got to write it down. That's what I call 1, 2, 3. And it's obvious we're not going to finish the rest of this until tomorrow's broadcast. You can see this entire teaching right on our website under the blog. And you can also click webcast and watch this teaching again. But before you leave our site, please take your mouse, move up to the top, and where it says sow a seed, just double click and ask God if today is the day that He'd have you sow another seed into the ministry of the Debt-Free Army and the Rich Thoughts Television Network. The amount is not as important to me as your obedience to do what God tells you to do. And sow a seed right now for 2012. Sow a seed into your future. Sow a seed into your future. That's the key. Hey, check the blog out. Send me an email if you're the 7th one to do so. I'll sow $50 into your life. And just keep thinking rich thoughts and happy trails until we meet again tomorrow. And we'll finish up this teaching on how to make 2012 a year of divine intervention in your life.